Tonight we have the Belle of the Ball, Annalee Adams. Hi, Annalee. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. It's lovely to see you as usual.
So we're just going to ask you some questions, and are you okay if we just get on
Yep.
with that? Yeah. Okay. So my first question is pretty much what I ask all the authors. Maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself and your books.
So I don't actually know where to start. So besides writing,
You have so
I'm
many.
I'm also a nurse. I have two amazing children, which you'll see at Wonderland because they always volunteer, and it's kind of quite a family event. So you'll see the hubby there as well. And with the books, I have got quite a few. So I write paranormal romance, urban fantasy, and horror, mainly under Annalee Adams. And then I've got Belladonna. So Belladonna writes Omegaverse, basically just sticks to the one genre. I've got them all behind me as well. So ready for doing TikTok shop when I get round to it.
So which one was your first book?
My first one was Eternal Entity. That was the first ever one that I did, and the first series. So there are 4 books in that series. And I really enjoyed doing that, to be honest.
Yeah. And so what inspired you to write?
For me, writing started with I was going through, I suppose, grief because I'd had relatives pass. And at the time, my mother wasn't very well. She had breast cancer. So it was a way of me dealing with, I suppose, that and putting things into that, making more of my own happy place, that I could control.
Yeah.
And I realised I absolutely loved doing it. I always loved writing. I used to write short stories as a kid as well. And it helped me through my mum passing. That first series is completely about that. The second book, Eternal Creation, How to Think Then. That's actually, I wrote that when I was sat by my mum's bedside for the 45 days she was in hospital before she passed away. So that book emotionally is very high on the stakes and things. But yeah, so that's why I got into it and fell in love with it and just carried on, really.
What's your favourite one though? What's your favourite genre to write? Because like you said, you've done quite a few, haven't you? So what's your favourite?
So I'm going to give quite a generic answer here and say it depends what mood I'm in, realistically. So I love writing my paranormal romance. That's what I started with, just because they're quite easy and you can bring in the fantasy elements of things and supernatural creatures, and you can just go wild with your imagination. But then I quite like something darker. So in between the lovey-dovey, say, Omegaverse or paranormal romance, I'll switch to darker and go for my gruesome fairy tales, for my horrors.
Yeah.
So that I can really just let rip and go very dark and horrible, basically, and gruesome.
Okay, so also what I wanted to ask you is so you do an event, a book signing event. Your first one was last year, wasn't it?
It was.
Wonderland, which obviously we're doing a podcast for and everything. But I wanted to ask you, I was curious, how did that come about? How did you come up with I'm going to do a book event? And it's going to be Wonderland and it's going to be a family event and stuff like that. How did that come about?
Originally, when I first started my nursing, I planned the graduation ball that we had there. You see, we wouldn't have had one otherwise. So I planned that and I actually quite enjoyed it. So I knew that I was okay to plan an event, or I thought I was until I actually got into it and I realised how difficult it is. But I do love it. So I thought, going to all the book signings and things, I absolutely love it. I mean, I love meeting people. I love meeting the readers, the authors, and socialising. I mean, being an author is quite an introverted type of
Mm.
thing, sat on your own. So it's just nice just to get together with people. So I thought, what have I got to lose type of thing? I'll give it a go. We'll do something small to start with. But of course, when I do things small, it doesn't stay small. I tend to
No.
go big or go home. So that's kind of what I did with the first year, with all the statues and everything and decor. I absolutely loved. And it kind of grew from there. Wonderland is because of my absolute love of my most favourite book, Alice in Wonderland, which is as completely bonkers as I can be at times. But it just seemed to work, basically.
And so if you were to give anyone advice that was thinking about doing their own event, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give them?
Make a very long list of everything that you need to do. Now, I work with lists. Sorry if you can hear the dog. He's tip-tapping around, bless him. Let me just open the door for a moment. There you go, Nathan. Yeah. So I work with lists. Otherwise, I would forget things.
Yeah.
Basically, because my memory is atrocious, as you probably know, Kerry. So my list has about 180 to 200 things on for this event.
Yeah.
And I add to it all the time. I've got it down to about 20 items, and that's with, definitely with your help. We've done really well this year. And so make a list of everything you need to do, and don't be afraid to add on to it.
Yeah. So what else was I going to ask you? So what is like a typical day of writing for you?
I like to write in silence, basically. I'm one of those type of people. I can't seem to write. I mean, I can have music in the background, but the lyrics really interrupt my flow, my thought.
Yeah.
So mainly, I get more writing done when I'm sat at the desk, but I tend to sit on the sofa with a laptop and just lose myself in it. And it's normally I write at night times. For example, when I was writing Last Island with Sharon Jackson, who is absolutely amazing, her writing is brilliant. And we were writing that. When it came to the chapters with the, I suppose, freaky evil dolls and stuff, I'd read the chapters that she had done, and it was that scary. I had to put the light on because normally I write with the light off at night,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was quite intriguing.
I haven't read that one yet. I've been
You've got to read that. It might be a bit
I've got
scary,
it on order. Yeah, I've got it on order. I think I'll probably read a little bit each day when it's light.
Yeah, I think you're all right. I think we said, is it chapter 4, when you get to the island? Nothing really starts to, well, actually saying that something bad happens on the cruise, but I'm not going to go into it because that would Sarah will kill me.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so I'm rubbish at secrets, so I'm just going to...
If you could I don't know, so if you could spend a day with your characters, oh God, would you spend a day with one of your characters? That's quite scary.
Yeah. Maybe some of the protagonists in, I suppose, the first series, or in Steak Sandwich, for example.
See, now we're talking. I love those books.
You see, they would be all right to hang out with, but
yeah,
no, some of my darker work, I would not go anywhere near those characters at all. They'd scare me. Not unless they've got a big chainsaw and a lot of armour on.
So what books are you writing at the moment?
So at the minute, I have just finished for the Belladonna, Laugh for Mega Laugh. And for Annalee, I am writing the final book in this series, the Heart of the Phoenix series. So it'll be the 5th book for that. So then that will be finished. And then I'll be coming up with, I've already kind of come up with, but coming up with a new series, which I'm really looking forward to doing. Plus, I've got Sharon's second one, Damnation's Doorstep, to go through and start writing, which will be amazing. I love those.
Yeah, no, I am looking forward to it. Although it's supposed to be quite scary.
Yeah.
I do think it would be a really good book, really good books.
So I love the ending.
I am going to brave it. Though I have read, I think it was your Red Riding Hood I read. And I can't even remember what part it was. All I remember was I was sitting there reading and Nathan came up behind me and was like, "Mum," and I jumped, squealed. My drink went flying, my book went flying. It was really comical.
You told me about that.
Yeah, it was I can't remember what bit it was, but yeah, he scared the living daylights out of me. So yeah, I might do it when he's at school so he doesn't get me again. I
don't think that book's that scary because she's the vigilante in that book. So she's kind of the badass that goes around and takes out the, I suppose, dark people.
Yeah. You
kind of fall in love with her as a character, even though realistically she's the villain because she's going around killing people. But you understand why. But yeah, the ending on that, I remember the first time I met Maxine, I call her Bathtub Girl, bless her. That's how I met her. She was in the bathtub apparently when she read that ending and screamed. She was not happy with me. She sent me a message, bless. I think that's amazing when people do that.
Yeah. So do you get many of your readers that send you messages when they've finished your books?
Every now and again I do, yeah. Or comments on posts, things like that, which it really, keeps you going as a writer, because it just goes to show that people are reading your books and they like your books. At the end of the day, I write because it's kind of self-healing and self-soothing for myself, but it's also, I like to write because I like to make an impact on other people's lives.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a good one, when it depends on the book, but I like to bring those emotional stakes out in people, and yeah, I think it's really important.
So you also write cowboy books, don't you, as well, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, I've just written the first one for Megaverse, and that's a marked mistake. We will also have, I think the second one is a marked debate, and a third one, which name escapes me right now, but it's a marked something or other.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite similar covers. I don't know if I've actually got one, because I ran out, I think, at the last Pacify. Sold out of those, I think. So yeah, but do love that one. It was different writing something like that, to be honest. I had to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it.
So last question. If you had to give a new writer or somebody that's debating whether to write their first book any advice at all on that, what would you be your advice?
A new writer, just start writing, whatever it is, and whatever comes into your mind. It doesn't matter if it ends up in a book or doesn't end up in a book. Just literally start writing. And then when you get used to writing, I'm one for the use of structure. So, pardon me, I use what's called a 3-act structure.
Yeah.
But I've changed it as I've gone along. And that helps me. So I can literally write chapter 11 to start with, and then scoot back to chapter 1, and so on and so forth, depending on my mood as to what chapter I'm doing. And I find
Yeah.
that really good. But some people, I suppose they pants it, don't they? That's what they call it. I don't know. What do you do? I'm not sure what you do.
I just swing it.
Swing it, yeah.
Fly by the seat of my pants sort of girl.
Yeah.
I sort of I know how I want to start it and I know where I want to finish it. It's all the bit in the middle.
Yeah, the middle bit's the worst, I think, when you're writing, because it can kind of go stale if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And it's trying to keep that, I suppose, action or romance, depending on what you're writing, going, to keep the intrigue going.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on tonight and sharing all your wisdom with us all. And I will see you at Wonderland and look forward to seeing you at Wonderland. I'm very excited.
Me too. Me too. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.